And today's message, the title would be Only God's Sovereignty Assures the Salvation of All. Now, Webster's defines sovereignty. We have given a couple of definitions. As supreme authority, unlimited in extent, supreme excellence, supreme power, freedom from external control, highest in rank or authority, unlimited in extent. In Isaiah chapter 14, and today we're going to be using some of the verses that we used before. And the reason we're doing that is the whole principle of, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to tell you what I told you, all right? So I might have told you something yesterday, I'm going to tell you again today, maybe in a different context or in a different way or a different light, but hopefully that is the same truth that gets passed to everyone today. So Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 24 says, Yahweh of hosts has sworn, saying, assuredly, just as I have meant, so will it come to be. And just as I have counseled, that shall be confirmed. And in verse 27, for Yahweh of hosts, he has counseled, and who shall annul it? And it is his hand that is stretched out, and who shall reverse it? And we know that God is the Theos. He is the placer. And God places everything in his creation where he wants it.
Exactly.
Guess what? In eternity, no, I don't use that word eternity, in time past before the disruption, you were planned out to sit right there today in this conference. Now that should give you a great deal of comfort.
Yes.
And if I have anything, and I'll try to reiterate it through the message, is that who's better able to run your life? You or the sovereign God of the universe?
Thank you.
Okay, I'll take the sovereign God of the universe.
Thank you. Yes.
You know what? I'm just a big screw up. I really am. Now, I don't feel embarrassed about saying that because it's what? You're all big screw-ups too. All right?
Screw-ups.
So if I had a choice, which I don't, but if I had a choice, I'll say, okay, God, you run my life.
Yeah.
All right? And we were talking about, and I mentioned it, and Clive reiterated that, about Israel coming out of Egypt. And Israel always hearken back to Egypt. We want to be like they were, be like it was. We want to be free of their control, but we want to hearken back to the laws that they had and you know, all that type of thing. So, as Clyde mentioned this morning, he brings them out to Mount Sinai and he comes down from the mountain and they'd already broken the commandment and that. They should have said, yeah, we don't want this law. Too burdensome. Now God said, I'll be your everything, I'll be your protection, I'll be your blessing, I'll be your abundance, I'll be this, that. You name it, he will be it. But they wanted to be like where they had come from and that. And they made this stupid, silly decision of, yeah, bring it on, bring it on. You know, we can do the law. We can do the law, no problem. Somebody else might not be able to do it, but we will be able to perform the law. And so, Theos, God the placer, brought them to that test, by the way, and they failed it miserably. All these tests that Clyde was talking about, a test at the end of the age or end of a period of time. And really that test is all to determine, no matter how good we have it, no matter how good human beings have it, they still can't control it. They still can't pass the test. And to show that God is truly, in fact, all in all. Now, don't feel bad. about you not controlling your life. Because I think if every one of you looked into your own lives, you can go back to the history and go, yeah, boy, I wish I hadn't done that. Except for my granddaughter. I gotta give her a hard time. Because she has me wrapped around like, since the day she was born. And it used to be, she would come to me and she would say, Pappy, how much do you love me?
What do you want, Jen?
Yeah. So it got to the point where, Pappy, how much do you love me?
How much do you
love me? Okay? But I truly love this young woman. And she has grown up to be a terrific young woman. Okay, enough of that. God is the placer, Theos. He places things. He places everything and everyone in His creation where He wants it. He is also El, where He subjects it to everything in His creation. He subjects you to the circumstances and the things in your life. When I was growing up, I wanted, my goal when I was 11 or 12 was to be a professional basketball player and play for the Boston Celtics. Guess what? That wasn't going to happen. Okay? And so, I'm a short white guy. Okay? I don't have any ability sports-wise or anything. I'm just me. And so I couldn't attain that goal of playing basketball for the Boston Celtics. God subjects everything to His desire and to His will. He is the subjector. And go back to Genesis 1:1 and that. Just Genesis 1:1. And Claire was mentioning it. We're talking about the two spheres, the earth and the heaven. Okay? By the way, if you ever grasp hold of Ephesians chapter 1, if you ever really grasp hold of that, man, in a, how would I describe that? In a manner that, it wasn't that Israel left Egypt and Pharaoh went, good luck you guys. Glad to have you around for 400 years. If you need any help, just call me. I'll be there. I'll be there to assist you in that. So what did God do? His will is for Israel to leave Egypt. So what did He do with Pharaoh? Pharaoh apparently wasn't strong enough and didn't have a strong enough constitution, because if Moses went to them and said, hey, we want to leave, and God hadn't intervened, in the sense, relatively speaking, Israel would have left. And if that is the way it had happened, we'd have never had the movie The Ten Commandments. Because it would have been a forgotten incident. Oh, yep, that happened back there. No, that's not what happened. God said, all right, Pharaoh, and not directly to Pharaoh, but He said, you don't have enough gumption. You don't have enough backbone to do what I want you to do. So I'm going to harden your heart. I'm going to make you rebellious. I'm going to make you nasty. I'm going to harden your heart so you won't let my people go. And you know the story. I mean, all I have to do is watch the movie. You know the story. And so all these things happen. And finally, Pharaoh releases Israel. Now, the reason he did that is so that God gets the glory for what was accomplished. He had to harden Pharaoh's heart so Pharaoh wouldn't let Israel go. So eventually when he did let Israel go, God gets glory from it. look what I did for my people. He had to harden Pharaoh's heart so he could resist Moses' pleadings to let their people go. Israel came out of the land of Egypt, and God got great glory from it. Now, I'm going to go down a little bit different path here. Okay? We all know what happened. And trust me, don't tell me otherwise. You watch the movie, and you enjoy some of the movie. Okay? And so we see in this movie, in what really happened, God's leading, through Moses leading Israel out of Egypt. We come to the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea, and Israel goes through it, and Pharaoh's army comes after them, and they were drowned, and they all died. My question to you is, have you ever thought about the poor slob who's driving the chariot? I'm serious.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about that poor slob? Now, he has no choice. He has no choice to go AWOL. And if you don't know what AWOL is, absent without leave. He had no choice. He could see death coming, and he had to keep driving that chariot. Or the spearman beside the chariot driver. He had no choice. He's got it. Well, my question to you, what happened to him? What happened to him? He died. According to Christianity, well, what the hell? What do you want to make for the potluck supper? That's the callousness of Christianity today. Martin Zender said that Christianity is the equivalent of Nazism in its attitude. And the final solution, and everybody knows what the final solution was for Adolf Hitler, is to destroy and annihilate the Jewish population in Europe. And Christianity's final solution for unbelievers is toss them into the eternal lake of fire, eternal conscious torment, while we are busily enjoying our salvation. While mom or dad, or brother or sister, or granddaughter or grandfather, or or very good friends, neighbors, people we work with, well, they didn't make it. So let's have a good time. Now, I see the parallels with that. And in fact, the reality is Christianity's doctrine is far worse than Nazism. See, Adolf Hitler could only kill the person. Christianity's solution is suffering forever and ever and ever and ever and never getting out. Like Jonathan Edwards, in one of the parts of his message, he says they're down there in hell looking up, and they're spending just time immemorial, thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and they look up and they realize they're never getting out. So Christianity's result, or Christianity's solution to that, is far worse. But, thanks be to God, that God's will is stronger than my will. And God's way is more perfect than my way. And God is able to keep anybody from falling into this non-existent place called hell. If you think about it, the concept of God putting people into this horrible, furnace of fire. And any of you ever burn your hand? Accidentally stuck a finger on the stove or something like that? And just think about being there and you're never getting out. No, it's not just your hand, it's your entire body. And you're burning, the skin is burning up. And then, as I said, somehow, miraculously, God enables the flesh to grow again, and He burns that off and that. Okay? But when you've grown up with that, that's the norm. When you've grown up with it, that is the norm. God's will is stronger than your will. Has God ever missed in the past? No. Psalms 46, please. And I do want you to turn to this if you are turning to it, to the scripture. Psalms 46. Psalms 46. How long have I gone?
43 minutes.
7 left.
I'm going to finish early today. And then you can take whatever we finish. Psalms 46, verse 10. 46, verse 10. Relax and know that I am Elohim. I shall be exalted above the nations. I shall be exalted in the earth. Now that, I'm just interested in that first phrase there. Relax and know that I am Elohim, as I am God. And I'll steal from Clyde again. And a wonderful message when you finished up with that verse. The King James says, be still and know that I'm God. But there are several iterations of the term be still. I've seen people be still and background. They're sitting back in the back of an airplane and the airplane's going like this and they're okay. I'll look back and hey, having a good time? But that's not what the meaning of that verse really is, because you can be still and be terrified. You can be still paralyzed with fear. That's not what he's saying here. Concordance says, relax. Let the air out and just relax. How hard is just God's got it under control. He's got everything under control. He's got your life under control. If there's one area in my life that I have some worry about, I'm still clinging, still holding on, it's about her. Because
You taught on worry.
I know I did. I know I did.
No, it's a sin.
I know.
But he's a misser, so.
I'm a misser, yeah. So
If you're worrying, you're not trusting.
I know. You want to get up here?
Just helping you out.
Thanks, appreciate that. Because I've helped raise her for the first 10 years of her life and influenced the rest of it in that. And it's like you want to hang on. So I can protect you. And now she's getting older. She's an adult. She's going to get married in another year or two. And she's graduated from college and she's going to find a job. And then she might move away from me. And I won't be able to protect her. Okay? But that's what I hold on to sometimes. Not all the time, but I'm thinking she's out on her own. She's driving the road. She's taking, she's flying she flew to Europe a couple of years ago. She flew all over the place and going, flight to where? Okay. Flight's going well, going good. Okay, got it. Okay. And yes, I know. Yes, okay? But he says here, the psalmist says, relax and know that I am God. Take the breath, just, and for the most part of my life, that rules, but there's a little areas in that, okay? As Clyde mentioned, somebody stole my retirement money. And her granddaughter says, aren't you mad? Aren't you angry? I said, nothing I can do about it. Why do I need to worry? God supplies. Okay? Just relax. You know, I've left half the message here. No.
Well, we can relax.
We can relax. We can relax after one last thing. Okay? Don't get ahead of yourselves. I heard this. This is a quote. I do not know who made the quote. I don't know if this is, I don't think it's an exact quote. The idea, I believe, represents what I have read or heard. To the best of my understanding of what it was, this was somebody said this back in the 1300s, 1400s, whatever, a long time ago. Okay? And it says, or my paraphrase of it, when the cost of staying the same becomes greater than the cost of change, change will occur. So count the cost. We're right back to where we started with Proverbs 23:23. Count the cost. When the cost of staying the same becomes greater than the cost of change, then change will occur. So count the cost. If you haven't been changed to one degree or another these last 2 days, then the cost is greater to change than the cost of staying the same. So count the cost. And when you get the truth, sell it not. It costs a lot to get the truth. What will you decide? And I'm not trying to make this a really grand thing. Think about the cost. And think about what you need to change. I'm done.